Hey my YouTube friends, welcome back. Today in this episode, we're going to talk about Rivian's Q2 earnings and how attractive Rivian's stock is in the upcoming weeks and months, if it's a good trade, and under what conditions, in my opinion, it is a good trade. And also in this episode, we're going to go over my trading portfolio, which I have full transparency with you guys. I share all the time in my previous videos how it's been going, how was its performance last week, because we all know the stock market in the last week was kind of a roller coaster and it was dramatic moments in last week's trading. So yeah, let's do that in this video. So first of all, I want to give you guys a quick go over of my current holdings in my trading portfolio. So now I have a lot of NVIDIA shares. I have 700 NVIDIA shares as of now holding in my trading portfolio, as well as 400 AMD shares. The reason I'm holding NVIDIA is I think a strong Q2 earnings for NVIDIA would heavily boost the stock price or even make some record high stock price in the upcoming week, 1 week or so. And especially in my previous video, I mentioned there are a couple of reasons that these chip makers, these AI momentums are not done yet. And for AMD, it's been pulled back since it's like all-time high just a couple of weeks ago for more than 50%. And considering AMD's already posted Q2 earnings, that was a strong and decent Q2 earnings and pretty decent Q3 outlook. If that buffs with a strong Q2 earnings from NVIDIA and maybe a potential pretty good outlook from NVIDIA that'll buff AMD's stock to quickly pull up back to its relatively high level. Okay, then I have some Affirm shares. I have 1,500 Affirm shares that worth around $40,000. Basically, I think Affirm is one of the stocks that's going to benefit more from the Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. And because of the fears from the market about the US economy's recession, that the market is kind of like forcing the Federal Reserve to make more aggressive interest rate cuts than previously anticipated. Previously, the market was only like anticipating Federal Reserve to cut interest rate 1 or 2 times this year by the end of this year, and each time 25 base points. But now the market is asking more and kind of forcing the Federal Reserve to do more aggressively. So I think Affirm will be one of the stocks that benefits more from these potential interest rate cuts. Okay, now back to Rivian. If you're familiar with me or familiar with this channel, you know I'm a long-term bull for Rivian. I think it has unique and very competitive products, and its products are stylish, are sleek, and a lot of people, reviewers who own these vehicles or paying attention to this company definitely love what they're doing. The only problem for Rivian is that they really need to step up on their financials and the way it managed this company to increase its revenue and to reduce its negative gross margin. And those are very, very important and key things I think Rivian needs to focus on. And their CEO, RJ, definitely aware of that and is addressing that problem as their company's main goal. Let's see how they're doing in their Q2 report, though, to see if they're making significant progress in terms of managing their gross margin and if they can fulfill their promise to turn the gross margin to the positive territory by the end of this year. Okay, in Rivian's Q2 earnings report, these are the highlights and the most important things we're going to need to focus on. In the revenues, you can see its total revenues for the second quarter of 2024 were $1.15 billion, primarily driven by the delivery of 13,790 vehicles. Total revenue from the sales of regulatory credits were $17 million for the quarter. So the gross profit, we generated negative gross profit of $451 million for the second quarter of 2024. Most importantly, compared to $412 million for the second quarter of 2023. So most importantly, we need to see how many vehicles Rivian actually produced and delivered. And because each of the vehicles are in the negative gross margin, so which basically means the more cars Rivian is selling right now, the more loss they get. So if we scroll down this report a little bit to this chart, to this very important chart of the Q2 earnings report, you can see the deliveries for the last 5 quarters from 12,000 to 15,000 to 13,000 to 13,000 to 13,000, 13 to 14,000-ish. So we really don't see a lot of vehicles deliver increase over the last 5 quarters. That's pretty much a big warning sign. And because the deliveries and the car produced is not increasing that much, which means the condition of the gross profit is not getting better, is not improved. And we can prove that from the gross margin numbers directly. We see negative 37%, 36%, 46%, 44%, and 39% over the last 5 quarters. You may argue that since the Q4 2023, the last quarter of last year, the gross margin is improving from negative 46% to 39%, but it's not really by a lot. And especially consider just 1 year ago, Rivian had lower gross margin, negative gross margin by like 37%, 36%. And the revenues are correctly reflecting what we're seeing here. The revenues are not increasing as well. It stays in the 1.1 billion, 1.3 billion, 1.3 billion, 1.2 billion, 1.1 billion level for the last 5 quarters. These are all kind of disappointing and warning signs. I still believe Rivian has strong products, and the second generation of R1T and R1S makes Rivian stay in this game, keeps its competitive advantages of its vehicles. But other than that, from the financial results, from these numbers, we really don't see a lot of improvements. And if we look at the 2024 outlook from Rivian, they say during the second quarter, we took significant steps towards our profitability targets through some of the changes we made to the R1 platform. And we also expect to start seeing the impact of these changes in the second half of the year and expect to reach a modest gross profit in the fourth quarter of this year. We're reaffirming our 2024 annual guidance of 57,000 total units of production, which are not so exciting. So with these kind of like staggering progress from Rivian, I think the only lifeline is that Rivian and Volkswagen, they're forming a joint venture company. Volkswagen is investing a lot of money to Rivian, 1 billion up to 5 billion in the coming years. So Rivian and Volkswagen Group announced the plans for joint venture to create an industry-leading vehicle software technology and for strategic investment by Volkswagen. From this announcement from Rivian, we see that Rivian and Volkswagen Group intended to enter a joint venture to create next generation software-defined vehicle platforms to be used in both companies' future EVs. And Volkswagen is the one who is investing, and the joint venture is expected to build on Rivian's industry-leading software and electrical architecture to create best-in-class software-defined vehicle technology platform. So partnership, Rivian is the one who is providing the technology and the software, and Volkswagen is the one mainly invest. I admit that Rivian has strong and beautiful softwares and very powerful platform, but whatever they're planning to do, they need to do it quickly because their competitor, the main competitor, Tesla, its FSD is getting really, really good. And I kind of feel from my personal experience and from my personal opinion that Tesla's FSD is having a pivotal moment, starting having a pivotal moment for buyers and customers to decide buy a car. If I were to choose between a Cybertruck and a Rivian for the high-end EVs, previously it was a no-brainer for me to pick up Rivian because it's just my taste and my like. But now, if I consider that with Cybertruck, I kind of enjoy all the autonomous driving capability from Tesla, as well as the massive supercharging network, I kind of like on the fence. The Rivian needs to really take a step up on its autonomous driving effort. I don't see a lot of news on that yet, but here is some. Rivian is upgrading its R1T, R1S hardware for autonomous driving platform. Previously, I thought there might be a chance that Rivian is partnering with Tesla, and Tesla is maybe like licensing its full self-drive to Rivian to really boost Rivian's autonomous driving capability. But it looks like now Rivian is working on its in-house software and autonomous driving systems, including like hardware and software. And this may be part of the deal with Volkswagen as well. The good side is Rivian is integrating with Apple's system more and more closely. Maybe not Apple's CarPlay at this moment, but definitely there's more integrations from Rivian to the Apple ecosystem. So yeah, to summarize my opinion, my long-term bullish to Rivian still holds. But in the short term, I kind of feel Rivian is stuck in the financial numbers and the deliveries and production is kind of staggering as well. So Rivian stock is still attractive to me, but only at the range of like $13 or under $13. So I'm probably in my investment portfolio, I have full transparency with you guys and I'm sharing with you guys all the time in my videos. I'm probably gonna pick up Rivian stocks to take the chance when the stock price is under 13 or around 13. But for now, I got the Nvidia and AMD on my hand. I really want to take this 20 to 25% of gains in the upcoming weeks and really have hope for that. If you like the content of this video, please like this video and consider subscribe to the channel. If you want to take the same journey with me, keep an eye on the portfolio. I share with you guys how it goes, how it performs. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.